we are at Mount Monadnock. It's right in my backyard, and I love Mount Monadnock. I don't know about you guys, but I had never climbed it all that much until just a couple of years ago. So you guys doing a documentary called Monadnock.
The mountain stands alone.
Okay. The mountain stands alone. I cannot wait for this documentary to come out. It's going to be a 90-minute documentary coming out in the spring of 2013, and I'm just glad somebody's doing it. So how did this get started?
Way back in 2008, fall of 2008, Amanda Borozinski, who at that time is a fellow photographer for the Sentinel, and I was there as a photographer too, and she said, hey, let's do a documentary on Mount Monadnock. So she planted the seed, and then I said, well, let me think about it a little while, and did some research, including Craig Brandon's Monadnock More Than a Mountain, and said, we've got enough for 90 minutes. And so the seed grew. We formed a 501c3, formed a board of directors.
Wow, this is serious stuff.
And we're able to collect money through donations and through grants, which we've been doing for about 3.5 years. And so that's been pretty much the background of it. And after the 501c3 was formed and the board of directors were found, then we added people that could help with the film.
And this company is called Rabbit Ear Films?
Yes, it's called Rabbit Ear Films, and it's registered with the State of New Hampshire Charitable Trust Unit. And so from there, I got together a wonderful group of people, community folks that are interested in filmmaking and learning more about filmmaking. And I also asked the third person to join besides Amanda and myself was Dan White, who's a film editor at Florentine Films, and he is on board as our film editor and producer.
Wow, that's
so
a
we're very
big
fortunate.
undertaking.
And then Jeff Newcomer here and Terry Solonpa over here hiding, and Jackie Stetzer, and just a wonderful crew. So the 3.5 years we've been working on this.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you've got a good plan in place.
I think the structure's there. It's very complex. We've got fundraising that we need to do, grant writing we need to do, filming on the mountain, filmed interviews, archival photos that we have to scan, and most importantly, we have Craig Brandon writing our script, and we're pretty much almost through the script.
Yeah.
Jackie Hooper is assistant script writer. And so it's all setting up 3.5 years of work to get into the editing this fall, and a good 6 to 9 months of editing, 25 hours of shots on the mountain, 10 hours, 15 hours of interviews, 300 pictures. It all has to be mixed together, as you know.
It is. It's a huge job. Now, so I've seen the trailer on your website, and that it's beautiful. What you've got so far is just absolutely so exciting to see. Now, how did you get some of this information about like hiking the mountain? Is that something that one of you guys pulled together, or I think it was Jackie maybe? Jackie, you've hiked the mountain a few times?
I have hiked the mountain about 60 times. We hike in the winter, the spring, the summer, and the fall. My husband John and I, we hike alone. We'll hike in groups. We hike just about any conditions, as long as there's not thunder and lightning. We can hike Monadnock.
Yeah. So, do you have any special, memories of any of your hikes that come to mind?
I remember starting out hiking in the winter time. The first time John and I hiked, we hiked without crampons. We didn't realize how dangerous it could be hiking, and we had something on the bottom of our shoes called Yak's tracks that were just not good enough. I remember learning that day that, I certainly needed to have good equipment to hike. I can remember hiking the very first time with John, and I didn't bring my own water supply. Now I have it's called a bladder that's part of my Camelback that allows me to have my own water whenever I need it. Good shoes, good water, very, very important. One memory I'll tell you about hiking with my cousin Joanne Deacon. Joanne started hiking every month. I think it was in 2007. This will be in the movie. And Joanne hiked for about 8 months and then was diagnosed with cancer in her lungs. And she said, I'm not going to let cancer change what I do in my life. I'm going to continue hiking up Monadnock. She climbed through cancer. She climbed through chemotherapy and all her treatments. And today she is strong and healthy as ever. And yes, she is still climbing Monadnock every single month. She has climbed Monadnock 90 months now in a row, not missing once because of cancer. And I'm just so thankful that that she is strong, that she is healthy, and her whole story will be in our movie.
That's wonderful. You know, it really is an inspirational mountain. It touches people in so many different ways. For me, I hadn't hiked it all that much until a couple of years ago. I haven't hiked it 90 times. I mean, that's awesome. But me, my brother, and my husband hiked it about 25 times in a row. And I took pictures all along, and I hope to have something, not a documentary come out at some point, but something that's a little bit smaller to just encourage people to go up to the mountain, or maybe if they can't even go to the mountain, to feel the experience of going up all of those rock steps and seeing all the different things that people have done to the trails to encourage safety and you know, the ability to be able to climb up the mountain. We even climbed the day that I got married, July 17th, a couple of years ago. My son, my brother, and some friends all went up, and we climbed the mountain that afternoon before we got married. And it just meant so much to me to have these people with me and to enjoy it, be up at the top, and the camaraderie that you have with all the people that you meet at the top. You know, people from all over. You know, it's the second most climbed mountain in the world. And you meet all these people from all walks of life. I like climbing. My favorite time is in the morning, before it gets hot and before the bugs really get out and things like that. But you know, you see so many people going up at different times of the day. It's just really,
and
really
people
interesting.
from all over the world.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a social mountain.
It is.
And really
everybody's happy.
That's one of the goals of the film is to really show the social aspect of the mountain. And it means something different to every single person, but it brings them inspiration, it brings them passion. And so what we hope to do is to tell these stories of the inspiration and passion on the mountain, and combine that with the rich history that is part of Mount Monadnock, and that's including the painters, the poets, the writers, Thoreau, Abbott Thayer. All of these folks over 200 years have come to the mountain because they've been inspired by it.
Yeah.
So we're going to share that inspiration with the viewer, and that's pretty much the goal of the film.
Yeah. So Terry, what is your connection with the mountain?
I am the lead researcher, and I've been researching this area for many, many years. I'm a lifelong researcher, and I have found all sorts of stories connected with the people that surround this mountain and people that come from all over the country. The mountain speaks, but it also listens. It's special to all of us. It means something different to all of us.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, there's places along the trails, it all depends on what trail you're on, but there's one trail where it's all mossy.
Yes.
And you almost feel like you're in a fairyland.
Yes.
You know,
The
for
Marion
just for
Trail.
a couple
Yes.
minutes. You're going along, and there's you know, the little streams that are flowing and the grass, and it's just, I don't know, there's different places along the way that are just amazing.
There are little pockets
yeah,
off the trail.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know, it's a very spiritual thing for me. You know, I don't feel like religion is what I'm talking. It's a spiritual feeling that you're connected with everything around you, and all those people. You know, when you get up to the top and you see all the places where people have put things into the rocks.
Yes.
Like,
For
how
next
many?
time.
Yeah, how many people have been standing right in the same place that you are standing? It's amazing.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff, how has this changed your life? You're a photographer.
Yeah, I've doing primarily landscape photography, and I think as we talk about the the excitement of being on top of the mountain. When you're a landscape photographer, the real interest is down at the bottom looking up at it. You know, it's fabulous going to the mountain, and I love climbing it, but it's probably the least interesting place to be to take pictures.
Yeah.
Except the occasional times when you can get a picture of the Boston skyline.
Right. Those
But-
little things sticking up
yeah.
in the, yeah.
But when I first decided to take the photography more seriously, the first thing that I did that day was to leave my wife, who was playing bridge with friends, and I took the day just to drive around the mountain. I'd never done that before in one day, and discovering all sorts of amazing things. And the first thing you understand is that the mountain is very different depending on where you're looking at it from. The silhouette that we have here is very different than just a few miles down the road. And if you go off if you look at in Dublin, across Dublin Lake, it's entirely different. You couldn't see it's the same mountain.
Right.
And because it stands alone, as we say, you get to appreciate those different looks and the interaction between the mountain and the forests and the ponds. The weather from season to season is incredible. I came somewhat late to the film when Steve asked me to get involved. I've been involved primarily with doing videography, which is an entirely new thing. It's been a wonderful chance to learn a whole different thing. It's entirely different than still photos and landscape photography. But it's been exciting to do that and kind of revisit some of my favorite places around the mountain to try to catch them in video. And it's a whole different feeling and a whole different look, and it's been an education.
Yeah.
I've learned so much about the area just doing that.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the times that I've enjoyed, we climbed really early in the morning one time before the sun came up. And it was so beautiful to see the sun like being born up on top of the mountain. It's just,
I've done the same.
yeah, yeah. We've only done it, once or twice, but it was totally worth it. And I'm really not interested in climbing down at night. I just don't have any interest in that part of it. But, looking through the trees sometimes and seeing the sun come in, or the change in the temperatures, in different places on the mountain, hiking it in the winter, when you can see, it looks almost like pollywogs underneath the ice coming down. It's just, it's just really neat. I mean, there's so many natural occurrences that happen on that mountain.
The visual aspect that I want to mention, we're doing this in high definition, Jody, which is a level that meets the PBS public television specs. We're doing everything in the film with PBS specs. Our goal is hopefully to, at some point, work with public television to get this aired. But that's going to be a lot of work, but we're taking one step at a time on that. But the visual aspect of it, as Jeff was saying, everything changes constantly. And our goal is to capture things visually that no one else has captured,
Right.
To make a unique approach to the documentary visually. And so we've been on the mountain, as Jeff's been on the mountain, I've been on the mountain. Larry Davis has been shooting pictures on the mountain with a video camera. And then Dan White, our producer editor, has also been filming. So we've had 4 filmmakers doing the filming. And we've captured some great stuff. I mean, Larry Davis got a shot of a snake crawling out of its lair and capturing a toad and pulling the toad back into the cave. You can't set that up.
Right.
He's got beautiful shots of snowboarders cascading down the summit in the wintertime, having a ball. So all of these wonderful visuals we're trying to put together and make it a very awesome visual film.
Yeah. Aren't we lucky to have this right here in the Monadnock region?
Oh,
We grow up here and we don't think anything of it because we see it every day. But what a wonderful thing to have.
Oh,
It defines us.
It does.
Whenever you come back from traveling, you're home when you can see the mountain.
Yeah, yeah, it is just beautiful. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to pass on? I mean, this film will be coming out soon, or you may see it after we've aired this again, because we hope that everybody is interested in learning more about Monadnock and participating and I just can't wait. I love history for myself. I just love history and knowing where I come from. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think I might add that we're making this film as kind of a legacy to the mountain. There have been books written, but this will be the first full-length, high-definition feature-length film. And we want to leave this film for our generation and even the kids that are coming up, future generations, so they realize how important Monadnock is to our region, to the culture. It's an icon, and it's a mountain that needs to be continued to have saved, the land protected, and if we do anything with the film, it's to let people know that they must keep this mountain protected so that future generations can appreciate it.
Right, right. There's just, I can't imagine not having the mountain to climb. So, you know, if you have not had a chance to climb Mount Monadnock, you know, think of it, it's something that pretty much anybody can do if you're in pretty good shape. There's lots of different trails. I think one of my favorites is the Marlboro Trail. I like that one just because there's a lot of rocks. I also like the Red Spot, you know, getting up to the Red Spot and crossing across there. I haven't done Pompeii yet. That's one of my goals because it's a little bit longer.
Next one.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe the 20. Yeah. Yeah. So you know, there's so much to the mountain, and again, it's different every time. Just go prepared. Know that you know you do need water, the right shoes. I've seen people walking up with flip-flops on before, and you know, you just know that you need to have the right gear. But if you don't, you can watch the documentary.
That's right.
So yeah, so today we've been in my backyard, and I just can't wait. You'll probably have it for sale, I would think, at some point, maybe. Who knows?
Yes.
Yeah,
I hope so.
it'll be in DVD,
Yeah.
and we hope to go the film festival route and share it that way. And also, we want to do it as an educational tool for history, and we want to get it into the schools and also the public in the region, the historical societies, etc. So we've got 4 or 5 different ways that we're going to be showing this.
Excellent. Excellent.
Look for us on Facebook, facebook.com/rabbitearfilms. You can see lovely pictures of Mount Monadnock and exciting stories like the one from Jack Calhoun of Antioch College, who talks about when he was just a teenager sleeping on the mountain with the Boy Scouts and then waking up to the sound of a bagpiper in full regalia and just playing on the mountain for about 15 minutes, hearing the song Amazing Grace, and then just as quickly as this man appeared, he disappeared. After we posted this story, 4 or 5 other people responded saying that they had seen this mysterious bagpiper as well. There's so many mysteries on the mountain. You'll be surprised at the things you see on our Rabbit Ear Films Facebook page.
Well, Jackie, you just gave me goosebumps. I'm serious. I can't help it. Thank you. Thank you, all of you guys, for joining us today. You've been in my backyard. If you're interested in being a guest or have comments or anything like that, please email us. Our email address is inmybackyardch8@gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing Monadnock,
The
mountain that stands alone.
So we'll see you in my backyard, and thanks again, everybody.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
William Peabody is credited with the 1824 poem Monadnock. The last line reads, "He rears in melancholy glory." Monadnock has been mentioned many times in local writings prior to 1800. I'm personally partial to the Native American aspect of the history of the mountain, and here are a couple of sentences. There is an early tale of the courtship between Monadnock, the warrior to the north, and Wachusett, the beautiful Indian maiden. They are forever destined to admire each other from afar, with Monadnock standing alone as a symbol of great strength. The mountain speaks, but it also listens.